Tony, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
After him, I have Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwoko. Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwoko is a security consultant and also a practicing lawyer in Aba here, also public affairs analyst. Barrister, welcome to the program.
Thank you, moderator, and good day, viewers.
Today, we are looking at the chairman of the Economic and Crimes and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdulrasheed Dawa, who has been sentenced to Kuje prison over contempt of court. The ruling, which was delivered on October 28, 2022, the EFCC boss was convicted of contempt of court in relation to the failure of the EFCC boss and the agency to comply with a November 21st, 2018 court order directing him to return a Range Rover vehicle and 40 million naira which he felt. The judge there had ruled that he should be sentenced, though he said he has applied or he has appealed.
When you talk about rule of law, especially in a civilized society, especially in a democracy, you are talking about an egalitarian society, a society where people are equal before the law. Granted that it is not possible for every human being to be equal. However, the inequality is also created by law. Provision is made for it by law. For example, those people who are either president, the vice president, governor, or deputy governor enjoy subject to the law. In the absence of these people that have constitutional immunity, every other person is expected to be bound by the provisions of the law when it comes to things like this. And so when this present administration begins to do their selective obedience to the orders and judgments of the court, right-thinking members of society like you and I become extremely worried, in the sense that that is not what the rule of law entails. It should apply to everybody. If he had been a governor and the court is insisting that he will go to Kuje prisons, everybody would fault the court because there is a law exempting him from even coming before the court. Now again, before the court got up to make that order, an earlier order had been in existence. It was disobeyed. Even when people want to go contrary to the orders of the court, when people do not want to comply immediately with it, the law has equally provided it and applied to the same court for permission to remain in contempt. It is not done. You have the case of Nigerian Army against Mawari, where the court declared the continued detention of a particular citizen as illegal and ordered that he be set free. They didn't comment, and then the government was hailing the judgment, the rule of law, in a democracy, abide by it. But this is now an agency of the federal government, of this administration at the center, directly under the office of the Attorney General, directly under his supervision. As it were, invariably, one can even argue that by extension it is the Attorney General, the Chief Law Officer of the land, that is disobeying the court order, and at the same time asking the court to allow it to continue in disobedience. That is most unfair, that's most unreasonable.
Okay,
Try to educate us with. These are things that happens in a very civilized life, where civilization is a practical thing, where there are norms, where in United States, between New York and Texas and California and all the rest of them, the norms are the same. What is obtainable in New York is also what you get in California, across that very society. Also in the UK, where nobody is above the law, a place where if you are given an office, you are there for the interest of the people. You obey the rules of that office. If by peradventure anything contrary happens, you throw in the towel. It is very, very unheard of in this part of the world, particularly Nigeria. Court judgments and court orders have been, it's now selective. If you're not in government, if you are not connected, if you're not in power, don't dare, because I know that useful exuberancy and so many things will play out. Moreover, he inherited a very corrupt system, an agency that is fighting corruption, and they are the embodiment of corruption. You can see the only clean person we have ever heard of in that agency is Ribani. Call it Waziri, call it Le Monde, or whatever, call it, Magu was most controversial, who came in and started, accepting gift from would-be suspects. Those in government, those you will try tomorrow, they are not giving you gift, giving you mansions where you live, giving you a car. King, who was praying for him, prophesying for him, was praying for him, to change and behave well as a king, live by morals and all that. The man gets on deteriorating. At the time, God himself called Samuel and told him, stop praying for this man, I've forgotten about him. He's just a walking corpse. So I don't want a situation where Nigeria will drift into becoming Saul, that even though he's walking, but God has left him. So that becomes an adult. So God help us.
All right, Council, they're from Greenhouse and Riverbongers. They said he has failed to do that since 2018 because Range Rover is an exotic car and 40 million is not here. And who knows his reason for not doing it. Even as we speak, I'm talking about appealing the matter is because if he
was not the chairman of EFCC at that point in time. It is an argument that he can make to say, I am not capable of obeying the order. I don't know.
Can it be acceptable?
I will address that now.
Okay.
I don't know in what capacity.
And the matter came up again on 28th of this October, just
I agree.
days ago.
I wouldn't know
it was emphasized
in what capacity he was sued. If the order was made in 2018, it means he became, or the order was made before he became a chairman. I wouldn't know why he was dragged into it. However, if the chairman of the EFCC is the one being carpeted, then that office or whosoever occupies it at any given point in time would be bound to obey that decision of the court. If for any reason he is unable to obey the decision of the court, it is for him to approach the court and have made so much recovery. And when they were not asked, okay, apply these recoveries towards funding the budgets of the past years, they will say, we didn't recover, or there is a K-leg or something. Yes, we know that administratively there could be some bottlenecks. It becomes mischievous and fraudulent for them to inform Nigerians that they have recovered. You haven't recovered. I wasn't here then. Secondly, we sold pursuant to your order, or to the order, because it is still the same Federal High Court. The judges, the fact that there are different judges is immaterial. Or the higher court being the Court of Appeal, in which case they have the backing of the law. They have the backing of the law. If they now disposed without...
with this, Abdul Rashid Bawa.
Well, just like I said earlier, who is involved matters a whole lot here. And the body language or the character of the sitting government. Their reaction to issues, will determine what the lieutenants of the president and the others working around, the way they look at things and the way they look at the law. The life wire of the country, and he refused to go. And the government media, the presidency and all of them supported what the woman did. And he didn't happen. And subsequently, a lot of people, have been doing that. The man who was, what do you call him, former secretary to the federal government, David Babacha or something. Yes, Lawal, was asked to appear before the Senate to explain how he used 200 million naira
220.
Yeah, 220
to cut
just grass in a school field. And the man turned it down and never appeared. And probably those around the presidency or those who wanted him out, was forced to leave the office. So continuously it has been there. So what the EFCC chairman is doing is also because the government of this day today doesn't have regard for the judiciary. You can see what started happening, some time ago. The chief law officer of the land, chief justice of the federation, sacked him over frivolous allegations, and nobody did nothing. That was why I said it depends on who is involved. You can see us a judgment was given against them, and everybody said we'll pay first, and that's because of corruption. It doesn't mean by embezzling money in government, siphoning, what they call over-invoicing of contract. That is not what is called corruption alone. So what this man now, who is EFCC, because in law you told us when we are the country and all that, we discovered that vicarious means collectivity. You are involved by virtue of law. Being a legislator, you are supposed to check the chairman. You made the budget and you're supposed to, there's what they call checks and balances. You have to do your oversight. And you were there. This chairman inflated the contract and you kept quiet. So telling us that, I wasn't there when the thing came. So why are you creating matters that came before you came? You understand? You should have started afresh. Every other person that was arrested accused of corruption when Magu, Lemon, they are forgiven. Let me start afresh. But you are teaching those matters. Then it has not come for you to do the right thing. You are not telling us.
And then talking about signing a disability law, that is giving them that sense of belonging. Council, again to you, how is it going to help our economy? And does it mean all this while the disabled persons are not involved in anywhere in government in the state?
Well, our constitution makes provision in chapter 4. Recently there's all kinds of modern coinages so as not to offend people. But that does not mean, for example, that you see somebody who has visual impairment and then you want to employ a driver or operator of machinery, and then you go and bring the person and say, okay, I don't want to discriminate against you. You'll be driving this with certain disabilities so as to accommodate them. You look at somebody, if the person is visually impaired, but he can walk about and things like that, and he can read the braille, you put him in an office where even he can be an information officer. He can be an information officer. Just get the braille machine. The office will now be obligated to provide a braille machine. You need to see these are our brethren who are visually impaired. When they want to read things like the Bible, they have their own Bible. It's just that these things are bulky. But they read faster than you and I with their hands. It's you know what God has denied or nature has denied them in sight. Nature compensates by making up in another way that even you wouldn't be able to meet up. So these are some of the things that the law now takes into cognizance so that you don't unfairly become prejudiced against a person just because he cannot see or cannot walk, or he has one finger shorter than the other. So long as it does not deprive that person of the ability to perform the duties and functions of a particular office, does not limit him, you shouldn't discriminate against such a person.
All right, Honorable. Talking about this, from what the lawyer said,
those beggars, those physically challenged people on the road begging money to go for surgery and all that, do we need to sign laws into whatever, or bills into law to get those things solved before assisting them? You can see those eyesore people. I don't know. I don't know how people pack. I'll be very comfortable if I'll have a 10,000 naira balance in my account and somebody out there needs 2,000, I won't give you. Talking about youth empowerment, the apprenticeship tradition in our land that is almost dying. And I put up a commission up here. I put up something to ask him to go prepare a bill, send to the house, so that something that will have human face. That may bring back these our youths back to the apprenticeship thing, the labor boy stuff. A situation where after learning how to make furniture, you won't have money to buy your hammers and your saw and all that. Can there be a bill where they will say, after learning this trade, get us your certificate from your master to the Ministry of Youth Affairs or whatever? You understand? That certificate will guarantee where government can give you a little startup, startup.
all right, wonderful viewers, you're welcome. This remains darling station, the Living TV, and the program is Nigeria Today. All right, one Azoka Owoka, a Nigerian, has said that Nigerians have no reason to be poor. He said that the human capital is one of this country. The council.
First, let me start by disagreeing with him. Nigeria, that's not true. Nigeria is not almost the poverty capital of this world. Nigeria is the poverty. Yes, I didn't say so. The last indicators on ground showed that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world as of today, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. Things are going down and down and down. What he said, and this one I will agree with, is that with the human capital resources as well as material resources, there is no reason why any Nigerian should be suffering like this. I was watching a documentary the other day about the United Arab Emirates. You get married, you're given a free plot of land. From birth, even before you are born, the state is already taking care of you till you go home. People are working there, but they don't work out their hearts the way we do in Nigeria. And despite working out our hearts, 80 billion naira. When some other people do not have They are not sure of where the next meal.
The 80 billion is just the one discovered.
The one discovered. According to EFCC, one man has 40 buildings. I can tell you that none of those buildings, none of them today would be valued less than 20 million naira. Not one of them. Multiply by 40, assuming what EFCC is saying is true. These are the ones. No, there are others. So what point am I trying to make? Is that we no longer have middle class. We used to have middle class in those days, even different categories of middle class. But today, you're either down there or up there. No median again. So what the young man has said is actually true. When you look at Nigeria side by side with other oil producing nations, Nigeria is one country in the world. There is no who knows if that is our problem in Nigeria. Because the United Arab Emirates we are talking about, God has given them desert. And yet they are exporting food. They have arid lands. So here in Nigeria, where we have the type of food basket belt you get from middle Nigeria, the point being made is that mismanagement, corruption, as my brother Tony had said, has finished this nation. Corruption is not only when you go and dip your hand in the public till and take whatever you like. Nepotism, for which this administration is known, is corruption. Putting square pegs in round holes such that they cannot manage the resources. So long as he answers a particular name, he belongs to a particular religion, he's from a particular part of the country, put him there. Even when they are messing up, even when the service chiefs cannot guarantee security, retain them there because they come from Oga Chief Driver's own area. That's the problem we have.
All right, Honorable Tony, what do you think, what is your assessment of this comment that he pities waiver that is going to take over?
I have a contrary view to what the lawyer here said and what the young man is saying. The poverty in the land is self-inflicted. Not that we are poor. Because
a recent study, I think it came out.
What is your determinant of a poor nation?
A poor nation.
Okay, use your state. What makes a state poor? Is it that you have few persons who are pushers, having 20 cars, 20, 80%?
If you have plenty around you and fail to exploit it, you are not poor. You cost your poverty. I can't let you. I won't even look you. I won't even have pity for you. I won't sympathize.
So that means the person is still poor. You cost your poverty.
But coming home to tell ourselves the truth, the way we do things here, because we raise what I can call competing with ourselves. You're not with yourself. A situation where you know you don't spend by your means. A situation where just because you want to impress your neighbor, just because you want to show off, your salary can only carry a little Nokia touch, and you are aiming to buy what do you call it?
Latest iPhone.
To link what you're saying to the functions of the federal government and state government to their citizens.
That is what I'm saying. I want to generalize it that the problem we're having in the land is a communal, is a societal problem. A situation where elections are coming and the voters are expecting every politician to dole out money, to buy drinks and cook food and all that. At the end of the day, if you fail to do that, you're not contesting nothing.
Because they are hungry.
That is what I'm saying.
They want to eat.
You are now promoting hunger. You're just kind of trying to dip yourself in poverty because definitely to bounce back. By the time the man wins that office and goes there, you don't expect any miracle from him. You can't do nothing. He can't fix those roads. And by the time those roads are, just look at some of the roads we have here in the southeast and where we live here in Aba. Where businesses within those areas has closed down. You ate your welfare up front.
Okay, I liken what you're saying to one of the leaders or one of the governors of this state who said, I cannot empower my enemies.
My enemies.
And remember, we are not talking about the money for his, from his personal boss. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the money collectively owned.
That is what I'm saying. By the time he was a fresher going into that office, he sold his properties here and there. His friends brought money, donated money. Oh, we want to do a dinner lunch for our brother, our friend who is contesting an election. They will all come there, 5 million, 10 million. By the time he wins, they will all come to throw in their proposals. He's not a Father Christmas. He is a businessman. But if you come out selflessly to vote for him, look at this manifesto, this one is capable, he has the capacity, he can deliver, and vote for him. Tomorrow you can go and face him square and tell him, Oga, you promised to fix this road, you have to fix it. Nobody can take money from you. Today, nobody is protesting here in this country. Things are skyrocketing, a loaf of bread is over 1,000 naira, nobody is protesting. Foodstuff, that's what they call Consumer Association of Nigeria. I've not seen them anywhere. Meeting, protesting, saying we can't go this way. A liter of kerosene today is heading 1,000 naira. Nobody is protesting. Do you know why we don't protest? We don't protest because we are guilty as charged. These politicians who will man these offices today, tomorrow, today they are paying for it. They are buying it. And by the time they bring out those obnoxious policies that will make you poor, you won't complain.
Well, if not for time, we would have gone ahead to ask how did we get here and why are we here now, where we are now, where we found ourselves, because I know Nigeria yesterday was far better, far much better than what we have today. I remember my grandmother told me a story how they were begged to call out for what they call county council then. Mm-hmm. Nobody bribes anybody. Mm-hmm. They come to your house, visit you because of your antecedent. You are asked now to come, please, and lead us. Mm-hmm. And nobody expects money.
A typical example of what happened here, when somebody came and bought what they call the discos around, within the country, the EDC and all that. They came here without a cable wire. Till today, we are still buying our transformers, we are still fixing the transformers, and nobody's protesting.
Even without prepaid meters.
You can imagine, they charge you whatever thing they want.
If you want to get prepaid meter,
nobody will use it. We'll end up in court. Thank God I have one.
No, they'll say go with it.
Okay.
You go with it, it will be like an empty box in your house.
Yes. It's better for the man that is coming to pay, because if first you pay, you go and buy another one. Pay for another one.
All right, the Nigerian Medical Association has called for psychiatric evaluation of governors and of governorship and the presidential candidates ahead of the 2023 general elections. The professional body screening process for all the candidates.
In all honesty, I think I support this view. Just that they were limited in their own suggestion or recommendation. I expect them to have said, let's press and make it a constitutional matter.
Good, that's what I will also.
That make it public. 2, that the people who would make that examination and make the result known would be staking their professional integrity and license. Secondly, that of the drug, yes, I agree. Because a lot of our candidates today seem to be junkies. The things they exhibit when they come out to talk to us gives the impression that we are dealing with drug addicts. Again, we equally ought to make it a constitutional issue that there would be public debate and that the candidates would be able to stand unaided, not assisted by anybody, nobody standing behind you and using their body to prop you up and holding you. Each candidate should be able to stand for at least 1 hour.
Or 30 minutes.
No, 1 hour. When we were kids in those days and we used to go to the stadium to march, the administrators that used to come to Aba Stadium in those days would stand for almost 3 hours taking salute. Yeah. Today, a man comes in, he's held up just 2 flights of steps like this. Everybody, the entire crowd goes, and then he sits down there. He's helped to sit down, and he sits down, heavily, and then starts hold a microphone like this and starts talking to you. and he's telling you that he's going to perform, like, I have done it before, I will do it. That is not. See, the people who should be governors, who should be president, vice president, should be people that can move fast on their feet. You cannot tell me that your brain would be that active and fast when you're sluggish on your feet. Even the Igbos have a saying now, onye guzoro ọtọ, okwu ya eguzoro ọtọ. And the lawyers will tell you, sorry, I think better on my feet. We know what we mean when we say we think better on our feet. It doesn't mean that our brain is on. But when you stand, actually, the brain has a way of being smarter. So yes, I have.
Those of us who are trained teachers, we say so too.
Good. So even the press, the journalists, fielding with who are your boys that would be behind the camera and then asking you questions, and you would sit like a lot in the manor and be talking to us. After 30 minutes, your aides will come and start doing hand like this. Time up. Oga is fatigued. Let's go. That's unfair. So these things, we should go for a constitutional amendment. You should be able to stand for 1 hour and debate with your co-contestants, other candidates. Tell us what you're coming to do, and not just what you're coming to do. Tell us also how you are going to do it on your feet. Go for medical evaluation, holistic. Publish the result. Go for narcotic evaluation, and let us know the state of your brain, whether you're a junkie.
Okay, Honorable.
Let me lift from what my brother is saying here. I'm not even thinking about the politicians alone or those who hold public office. I have a different view, linking, to what he's saying. If you are up to 18 years in Nigeria, you must go for a medical test. Before you get admission into the university, you must, just like the BVN, you must get a medical certificate. Somebody will mount the microphone and start raising funds. Oh, let's speak. Tell them any foundation.
Some of them behave like junkies.
Like that. So their mental should also be evaluated. You'll be wondering, I am here to get a message. I came here to seek for succor, to get the word of God that will take me home. I have some problems. I need some word of God that will, And somebody mounts the podium and start raising funds. You can imagine, and we'll keep a church that started by 8 a.m. and you keep them till 2 or 3. Is that man normal? Because you don't go anywhere.
And every few years, go back. Maybe every 5 years, you go back. Just like license.
That's exactly how it should be. Not just be, in the Western world, America, they give good leadership because they are trained from their mother's bedroom. They are trained from the toddler class. They are taught leadership from the school. Everybody knows what to do. That's why whenever every American president or British president comes on board, he will bring a new thing altogether.
All right, because of our time, let's see how we are going to rush this. There would have been an example of what just happened today in one of the hospitals and with our neighbor here. But because of time, let's just go straight to the point so that we can call it a quit. The technical crew are already giving us signs. Oba Nureni Uduwaye in Ogun State is alleged to have blinded one Washu Uduwale, who is a food vendor and also from the Onabanjo University, for dancing with the queen. And then when that was discovered, though the young man never accepted that, but the people around said because the Oba had noticed and the way the things are here, just go and say you are sorry. It was in a party.
Your man that blinded him?
Yes, in the Oba.
No, before that was
before. So he now went down as it was about prostrating. Their way now in Europe, but the man used his left leg with the shoe and kicked him, and the eyeball came out from the socket immediately. And as we speak, the guy is blind. The parents rushed to the police area command and said the Oba can do anything. So they are now
to any degrading or inhuman treatment. No person should be subjected to torture and so on. That's part of our constitution. But at the same time, young men these days should learn to be careful. Why would you? That's the one the Ngwas will say. Why would you go to dance with somebody's wife? And especially certain troubles are not worth looking for. I'm not saying that what the Oba did is right. No, I have already condemned it. It's very wrong. He has no such.
It was in a party.
It doesn't.
And they didn't know. Is anything written? There was nothing written to show that was a win.
Okay, you are defending. You know.
I'm not defending based on this.
No. I think everybody palace in Benin City. I never set eyes on the Oba. Not at all.
For that 1 year.
Yeah, for the entire 1 year. You wouldn't even see him when he's going out. His vehicle is tinted. It also has a curtain inside. They have a traditional reason for that. That's not for this program. You don't even get to see him carelessly. But today, the Oba will attend the party.
All right. You have anything to include there?
I'm not a lawyer.
Just on the
legal man.
we have so many other things to talk about, but maybe we'll continue tomorrow with the issue of the moment. But here, just on a lighter mood, the mother, the lady Chidinma Ojukwu, who was alleged to have done that alone, killing of Lucifer, was not just by there were some other reasons, that people behind it, but Chidinma was fronted. Now, coming to talk about the foster father who remarried the mother, sleeping with her sexually, and then this. What is the difference between a foster father and a father?
Well, actually, the foster father is not bloodly related to her. He can only the only person that can respect that relationship is the man with good morals and good conscience. But the man whose life is anything goes, can do anything. Some people sleep with their blood, with their own daughter, you know. Not to talk of when you have a free food and you are a man that is very hungry, who can't even control your hunger. So, anything good. So, but I don't know how the foster father relationship with Chidinma.
Yes,
that's what
and this was tendered in court. Too.
Yes, with the cleaning of the mothering of the TV, you know. So, to the best of my knowledge, what I'm thinking, the police is still God-fearing, because if you are God-fearing, no matter how and what happens with your spouse tomorrow, I don't think you start looking out there. So it's all about morals and being God-fearing. Having
more than a wife or two in African context, that is polygamy. Is it forbidden?
It is not. If you want to marry, go ahead and marry 30. But don't just keep, don't just keep anybody out there.
That's what I want to get on
that. Well, he has said it. If you want to marry, by our tradition and custom down here, you want to marry 500, go ahead. My own grandfather had 68 wives. My grandfather married 68 wives. Go ahead, but
how many
he didn't have side chicks.
Okay.
He didn't have side chicks.
But nobody get them legally married.
Yes, nobody does that then. Except
it is about not as many as you can, no problem. But
except it's a part of the land.
That of Nicodemus movement, you know, women, very dangerous.
Yes, even among the thieves that you will visit and the man will give you the wife. He only gives you possession.
I've experienced that in Benue.
You experienced it?
Yeah, a friend of mine.
Oh,
but I didn't do.
Okay,
I didn't do.
But you earlier said that you experienced it.
Yes, I experienced. He invited me. Emmanuel Lekia is his name.
Okay, you did.
When I was the secretary CNBB in Abuja.
Okay.
He invited me. We went. And on the night, I was expecting him to take me to the hotel. He prepared his bedroom. He had 3 wives. He said he's giving me the best, and that is their culture and tradition. And that if I refuse, that means I don't like him.
Is that one in Nollywood or in reality?
No, in reality.
I'm telling you, in reality.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I called his name, Emmanuel Lekia, a friend.
Wow.
And how did you reward his friendship?
There is no how, because of where I am coming from. I want you to think.
He has
That will
No,
take
it's their tradition, and I learned that if you
it's also
say
there.
it's regarded as an insult to the man.
Yes.
Yes, you are dishonoring the man.
That's interesting.
And
Yes,
that's
Kim was
also
also
where if you go, they can give you every other meat. It's only their special friend that they give out rat. You know they eat.
Okay. What does it say, the section?
I wanted to ask.
I don't go about with the law in my head.
Okay.
So when you have referred to it,
Yes,
you read out for us what it has said. What does that particular section say? What is it about?
Well, they're asking INEC, because this matter had been there before, and it looked as if it was quashed somehow. And then the same group, called as his classmate, said they didn't see him in school.
That's terrible.
Before his spokesman, what was his name? Keyamo, now turned around and said, okay, he didn't go to school again. He attended from home. He was a correspondence consul. Well, the matter is a court.
Yes. And Barrister Chukwemeka Wong, thank you for being here too.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye, viewers.
And this is your command, Chineduma Dele, asking you to keep watching Living TV. Until I come your way again, remain blessed.